let's take a quick look at it, guys. Yeah, obviously, like I said, we're gonna give some in-depth opinions and discussions about this tomorrow. Yeah, for the podcast with more people than just me, right? Because it's just little
peg of me.
Yeah, it's like a stance. Ah, I see. Let's take a look. So, of course, skill 1's gonna be glancing, right? Attack the enemy to increase the chance of landing glancing for up to, what is it, 70%? Not bad. Plays a song that, it's just one hit, right? Yeah, one hit. Plays a song that decreases the HP of the enemy that gets a turn by 5% each, and decrease the attack bar by 1 turn with a 50% chance until the next turn starts. So, if I'm understanding this correctly, right, I want to see what you guys think. It's basically saying, right, of course with skill ups, you'll be at 65% chance to attack down. So this means that your turn, Hongyeon, right, your turn, you have Fire String Master. You activate skill 2, Melody of Resentment. When you activate this skill, until your next turn, right, until you move again, until your next turn, all the opponents that take a turn will lose 5% HP, and they will get an opportunity to lose their attack power, right? They'll get an attack down at a 65% proc rate. So if they violent proc, if it's an Antares and it goes 20 times, because after your units it goes 20 times, it will take 5% and it'll get a resistance or accuracy check within each one at a 65% proc rate before accuracy and resistance check of getting attacked down for 1 turn. So what does this mean? This means that this particular unit, I think it's gonna be a unit that is not gonna be on violent. What is your guys' opinion? Right, I don't think there's gonna be any real benefit of having it on violent, because if you ever are to do Melody of Resentment, you're gonna and you violent, it's gonna be really bad, right? So the builds of this can be very versatile, right? You have all your energy runes, your guard runes, right? You can get a lot of stats on this thing. I don't know what the multiplier is for like skill 1 and whatnot. Maybe crit damage is an option, but it's looking to be like a lot of people are probably gonna lean towards runing it on Swift, even though it has a very bad base speed. I think runing it on Swift could be very viable, right? Just because, you know, you're trying to get a little bit more speed out of it, right? Why not, since you can't get it on violent as well? You could also opt for multiple will sets. I've heard some people discussing about, you know, double will sets, right? Triple will sets. I've heard people discussing about, you know, shield, right? Even though shield has some implications against deafnesses, I think there is some benefit here of going double will, right? There might be some options to be double will. You don't want to be swift, you want to be slow. Oh, you actually, yeah, if we're on swift, maybe we're gonna be too fast. That's true. That's very true. But keep in mind though, if you're too slow, then you won't be able to take a turn and use Melody of Resentment, right? I think there's gonna be a balance in the speed that's required. Yeah, so instead of saying a certain set is bad, I think what we should say is that we want to rune this unit on a specific speed. Right? Is that fair? I think that's fair to say, right? This unit probably wants to be runed on a specific speed, right? Does not need to be on violent. Probably not going to be on despair, so it's probably going to be on multiple sets of will, or if you decide to go swift, right, you're going to be rooting for a certain speed. Yeah, the stance can be interrupted, so will is a must. I didn't know that. So that's why multiple people have been saying double and triple will. So what if you rune it on a team that, you know, allows her to move, and you rune her up on a team where she can be on triple will? Right? Maybe you don't even need triple will, especially if you bring in immunity yourself. You might not really need triple will technically. Yeah, so there's a lot of flexibility, I guess, on the runing for this, since it doesn't have to be on violent, right? Millennium Melody plays a song that increases the attack bar of all allies, excluding yourself, by 15% each. Okay? Recovers the HP of the ally that gets a turn by 15%. It increases attack power for 1 turn until the next turn. Wow. Hey, that's not bad. Yeah, it's infinite attack buffs, right? Because buffs have no chance to apply. That's interesting. So if you were to make your Hongyeon go, that means that every single turn your unit gets 15% heal every turn it takes, as well as it gets attack buff every single turn. Can anybody think of the unit that comes to mind with that I can think of? Sierra. Every time Sierra has turn skill 2, she heals for 30% and always has attack buff. Diana. Whenever Diana moves, she's gonna heal for 30% guaranteed and potentially more, and always have attack buff. Right? Something people don't know as well is that attack buff is really good for Diana on human form. It makes her skills actually hit a lot harder. Wow. You know, that I mean, it sounds crazy on paper. We're gonna have to see the implications though. Yeah. Okay. Let's check out the water one here. Same skill 1. Skill 2, attack all enemies 3 times to stun them for 1 turn with a 50% chance each, goes up to 25. Decrease the attack bar by 10% if the target's under inability effect. Sounds kind of like a Tyrone. Sounds kind of like a budget Tyrone, budget Varad. I don't know. Can be interesting. Keep in mind it's only a skill 2, so we'll see. Yeah, skill 3 here. Plays a song that grants immunity on yourself for 1 turn and blocks enemies from getting beneficial effects until the next turn. Oh, so this one's the same thing again, where if you use your song, you get immunity on yourself, which is kind of nice. So this one only needs to be ruined on 1 will set, because you get a will set anyways by using the skill, and it prevents your opponent from putting up buffs. Now, has anybody tested this out? Is it a debuff, or is this a passive that is just applied on the field? Yeah, is this a passive that's just applied on the field, right? Let's say like a Leo, right? You have a Leo on the field, everybody has that, right? It's not like it applies any buffs. It's a passive. Right, because it says right there, yeah, that enemies from getting beneficial effects until end of next start. So let's say a unit has immunity. Can they get buffs still then, or what? Right, because immunity won't block this passive, right? It's okay. The best way to think of these new units, I think, is, have any of you guys played Yu-Gi-Oh from back in the day with those field cards like Umi, yeah, or Mountain? You know what I mean? Like old school. So it blocks all buffs. So it doesn't stop buffs that are already active, right? Let's say like my opponent already has attack buff in immunity, right? It doesn't remove that from them, right? It just doesn't allow them to get any more. Yeah, maybe it's not gonna be as OP as we think, but at least for now, I think this could shake up the meta in the way that people go into RTA. This is interesting. Yeah, Fran is definitely gonna have a hard time, right? Assuming that this thing can take first turn, it's gonna stop a Fran. Think about it. If this goes before your opponent, right? That's why the base speeds are so slow. But if this goes before your opponent, they can't buff. It's not even a chance. It's not even something they can cleanse. They just cannot buff. Is that not OP, or am I just thinking about this wrong? I believe that if this skill uses its third skill, if your opponent has a Fran, right, and all their units are on will, right? If Fran decides to try to use an S3, it's not going to do anything. And then after that, obviously, your 1 turn of will from your set goes away. You have nothing on you. You naked. Yeah? That's from my understanding. So that's very interesting. Wind one here. Same there. This one's the same, right? The one that has 5% down and attack power down. And then Master Hands. Master Hands. Yeah? Uses the Melody of Resentment when attacked by the enemies while not playing the song. Interesting. So does this mean that I use this skill, and then until my next turn, it's HP down and attack down, right? And then let's say my turn comes up again. Obviously now I'm a sitting duck, right? I don't have Melody of Resentment available because it's only available for that 1 turn duration, right? But I have a passive, right? If something attacks me, then I automatically put this up. I put the Melody of Resentment back up if I get touched. Is that correct? So maybe this is going to be good against teams with AoE, right? But how OP is HP down and attack down in those situations is kind of the question, right? You're going against an opponent that, let's say, has an Iris, right? You're going against an opponent that has AoE whatever. Pretty much every single turn, you will have Melody of Resentment up, meaning that they'll get attack down and they'll get HP down. But is that OP? I don't know. Yeah, the damage you receive will decrease by 30% while playing the song. So as soon as you get attacked and you have the song up, or if you have the song up, you take reduced damage. Okay, it's some kind of wind tank, I guess. Could be kind of interesting. I think this has some implications for Guild Wars, right? Oh, they all have Guild War leader skills. 33% HP, 40% accuracy, 40% resistance, 33% defense for the light, and 24%. Okay, wait, that's not bad. Yeah, I think that the win one, from what I've seen so far, all of them seem pretty solid, right? Even the win one, which I think is maybe one of the not as good ones, this is actually a good choice going into Guild Wars battles as a win tank, right? A new unit you can use as a win tank. It's gonna have high resistance. It's gonna be hard to kill, right? 30% damage reduced, right? And obviously when you're going into Guild Wars and Guild Siege, you're taking against fire units, right? Like maybe like a Perna or something like that. I don't know what her base stats are gonna be like when she turns level 40, but if she's tanky enough, I think it might be a good option as a win tank. You have to reduce damage from like Pernas and whatnot. Eat those hits, right? Be able to be in there, eat those hits, as well as put attack down, especially against your opponents that don't have immunity, right? It's not like RTA where you run into like immunity and stuff, right? It's Guild Wars, Guild Siege. It's a much more controlled environment. So it could be an okay win tank. You might not even need the cooldowns for this unit. This unit might be able to be run without any. Oh, it's 2-turn cooldown. Oh, this only activates. Oh, this only activates every 4 turns. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I don't think this unit's very good. I don't think, because of the multiple turns, we're gonna have to see if when people test it out. But because the spot that I was saying to use this unit in is as a wind tank. That's not that important of a role, you know what I mean? So to build this unit for that role, I don't think necessarily is going to be that worth it yet. So we'll see how this goes moving forward, but doesn't seem that crazy. Now that I think of it, if this was every turn, then that would be kind of cool. But yeah, even on Violent, I don't think it's going to make any sense really either. But we'll see, right? Might be wrong about it moving forward. It's interesting. Yeah, light one here. Glancing on S1, Melody of Resentment, same thing. And then passive again. Your attack bar decreased by 10% when an enemy gains a turn while playing the song. So you gain attack bar whenever your opponent moves. Whether they Violent, whether their Sierra does, 2 turns because bomb and additional turn, you get 20% while playing the song. Okay? And your attack bar is increased by 20% when an enemy gains a turn while not playing the song. Kind of sucks, no? I mean, you get a lot of turns, but what the hell are you doing? Oh, your attack bar is decreased when enemy gains a turn. This unit can actually stay in Melody of Resentment forever. That's cool. That's kind of cool. I don't know if it's going to be OP, but that's cool. That means your opponent, for the rest of the battle, will get attacked down with a 65% chance and will get decreased by 5% HP per turn they take, like Sierra. Bomb, additional turn, that's 10%, right? Every turn. Wow. Check out the dark one here. A lot of you guys saying it's OP. Let me see. Glancing on S1, dissonance attack. Okay, this is the AoE stun, right? Like I said, it's like Tyrone Varad budget. Okay, interesting. Skill number 3, Curse Magic. Plays a song that increases the attack speed of all allies, excluding yourself, for 2 turns. Wait, plays a song that increases the attack speed of all allies, excluding yourself, for 2 turns, and increases the damage of all allies and enemies by 25% until the next turn. You cannot attack together or counterattack. Okay, now tell me why it's OP. Now you give everybody attack speed, right, on your side, and then you make everybody in the field do 25% more damage. Yeah, it's like it's like a guaranteed brand on your opponent, right? It doesn't land. It's a guaranteed brand. Taeon Fat Lucian. But you have to play a song first though. You have to use this skill, right? So this unit has to be faster. So the only thought process I have of why this might be nice is what you're seeing from chat. Everybody's saying it will go good with Lucian, right? Obviously, it'll go good with Lucian because let's say, for example, just a standard 10k Lucian, okay? Let's just say, obviously we can hit harder than that, but use a 10k Lucian. Now you can do, 12.5k per card, right? You see a 25% damage increase. That's big, especially if you're cleaving, right? And especially when you're going against opponents that have like Nemesis, right? You want to be able to kill them so that they can't revive. Interesting. But, usually when you're cleaving, you're taking out a slot or a unit for this unit. So unless you're going against teams where you have to nuke them in one shot, isn't it just better to have a second damage dealer? All right, last things we're gonna take a quick look at here is the Art Masters, right? Let's take a look here. Let's look at the leader skills first. They all have increased attack power. Okay, so they're all increased attack power for their those attribute allies. That could be interesting, right? That's kind of nice in like arena and some areas of the game. Not bad. Take a look at the skills here. Attack the enemy with a 30%, attack the enemy to decrease the attack bar by 30%. Wow, skill 1 that decreases attack bar by 30% with a 75% chance. Goes up to 75. Okay, 30% attack bar decrease is kind of nice. All right, especially if you Violent and whatnot, that can be kind of nice, right? The biggest factor about attack bar manipulation is attack bar manipulation, right? Being able to screw your opponent over, right? That's one of the powers and one of the threats. A lot of people, they think of Triana and they think of the Heart Magicians as, oh, okay, Harmonia's got a big heal. Oh, they got the immunity, right? Can cleanse and, one unit and do immunity. They have, Triana's passive, but a lot of people forget the power of Heart Magicians also is because of their skill 1s, right? This, unfortunately, only has a 50% chance to proc, right? To reduce attack by only 15%. That's already enough to mess up your opponent's turn order, right? But now with 25% chance more to attack bar manipulate. Obviously can't sleep though, but attack bar manipulate, this could be even more powerful, right? Being able to reduce the attack bar of your opponent so they can't set up defense break and a nuke, right? Being able to reduce the attack bar so that they get their attack buffer at the wrong timing, being able to reduce their attack bar when they're using maybe Gania Thor. I don't know why you're letting them have Gania Thor, but Gania Thor, so they can't, you know, ventilate properly. This can be a big skill here. Yeah, big skill here. Just on a skill 1. So it's kind of nice. Skill tier. Oh, this is the one that I've been hearing about. This is a new mechanic in the game. Seals the enemy in the scroll, leaving the enemy out of battle for a designated period of time. The duration of the seal increases according to your attack speed. If all enemies are sealed, the target with the least duration time will be released. I think this skill is nuts. Alright, correct me if I'm wrong as well, chat. If I use Scroll Trap and I use it on Ragdoll, passive is not on field anymore. There are very interesting interactions that we have to test to be sure, right? Sometimes we will assume on paper, but we're not entirely sure, right? Stops and turrets, obviously they can't move anymore, right? Yeah, this could be big, right? This skill is huge, really good. This should be literally a skill 3, man. Yeah, it should literally be a skill 3. It takes passes out, it's been tested. Wow. Okay, let's see this third skill here. Attacks all enemies to remove all their beneficial... It's a stripper as well. And increases attack power of all allies by AoE strip. You know, a couple, like over a year ago, I was talking about units in the game. And there was no unit in the game I said that was a stripper attack buffer. They actually have created a stripper attack buffer. Right? So obviously this is going to be something that people can use in their normal cleaves, right? You can cleave in RTA, you can cleave in Arena. But now, if you don't have a Tiana, right, and you don't want to set up with a Galleon, you can cleave and you can bring in any defense breaker. Any defense breaker into the game. If, let's say, you have this unit, right? So let's say if you have this and you don't have a Galleon, right? You're not worried, right? You can use this and you can use a Mantura. You can use this and you can use whatever it is to land defense break, which is kind of nice. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. It could be a lure meta, sure, right? It could be even more viable, right? Lure might be good now, right? Doesn't lure put defense break and attack bar reduction? Attack on enemies, decrease the attack bar by 50% and decrease defense for 2 turns. This attack always lands as a crushing hit regard... That's the combo. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be as it's going to be, in my opinion, slightly less consistent than Tiana Galleon, right? Because Tiana takes away one of the biggest factors, right? Takes away the factor of, you know, stripping, 100%, and it boosts, right? Where this one doesn't boost. This combo would be like basically the Fire Art Master using his skill and then you speed tuning your lure to go after him. That's important. The speed tuning, right? So that you don't get cut, and then you reduce, right? And when you reduce, the bigger the benefit you get is that lure versus Galleon. You know, I mean, I guess they both can land defense break nicely, but this one has attack bar reduction. So even if you don't get defense break, it's nice to attack bar reduce. Interesting. That could be interesting. I don't know if this thing's like crazy, but I'm excited for this skill too, though. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of this unit in RTA. He can be pretty strong in RTA, I think. Yeah, being able to strip buffs, 4-turn cooldown. Yeah, 102 base speed, 670 defense, 1071. Yeah, the base speed, base stats are okay. Has decently high attack as well, right? Which leads me to believe that a lot of these skills are going to be scaling on attack, probably. And if he does scale on attack, this is probably going to be a bruiser type. So I think we did speculate this right, that the string masters will be tank type, and the art masters will be more towards the bruiser type, it seems. Okay, let's take a look at the water one here. Attack bar decrease. Attack on enemies to remove all beneficial effects granted on them and increase the chance of landing glancing for 2 turns with a 50% chance. 75% chance with skill ups. Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad. This is very similar to the to an S3 from Volantis. Yeah, this is very similar to S3 for Volantis. The only difference, I believe, is that Volantis is 100%, right? And as well as Volantis probably provokes. Yeah, but I believe Volantis should be 100%. Yeah, but the provoke is a 50%. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. That's kind of fairish, right? That's kind of fairish, just for the simple fact that it is an S2 compared to an S3. I don't know. Another thing is, of course, you can root on Despair, so that might be something of interest as well. Passive here, when enemies remove harmful effects, the attack bar of all allies will be increased by 25%. Ooh. This is good against Junos. This is good against Rakunis. This is good against Tetras. Did they just make Nephthys Nephthys players stronger? Because what is the biggest counters to like Nephthys or Giannas or whatnot? People counter it with like, I don't think Juno is the best counter for Nephthys, but people can try to counter with that. Juno, even Rakuni, even Tetra. And now those players will have the opportunity to draft this unit into it. Interesting. Win 1. I heard this one's gonna be pretty good, right? Skill 1's the same. Skill 2, attack all enemies to remove beneficial effects on them, and glancing. So it's the budget Volant. I'm gonna call this budget Volantis skill 2. Okay, budget Volantis skill 2. And then skill 3, attack all enemies 3 times to decrease their attack bar by 50% with each attack. Increase the skill cooldown time by 1 turn if the target attack bar is 0. The one thing that needs to be tested with this unit is the in-play consistency, right? Because when you read this skill, it sounds strong, right? Attack bar reduction and increase cooldown. That's big, right? If you're able to take turn 1, you increase cooldown, you already eliminate 2 turns from them, right? You're basically removing turn 1, which is, you know, all the attack bar, and you're removing turn 2 because they can't use any skills, right? It's big. But the issue is how consistent it's going to be, because there is a lot of accuracy and resistance checks in this one skill. You have the attack bar reduction 3 times that needs to go through resistance check, and you must land 2. If you do not land 2, you will not be able to move on to the next resistance check, which is resisting against the skill cooldown, right? So it's gonna be, I don't know how OP this is, right? I don't know what the multiplier on this is as well. Could be a cool damage dealer, right? A cool damage dealer like Zyros, but more consistent, right? Potentially. I guess with Zyros, you reset everything though, right? But if this does decent damage, it might be nice. I don't know. There's a lot of RNG, right? So I want to see this in play if it's good or not, right? It could be interesting, right? It could be very, very interesting, because you're basically going to be able to do S3 and probably S2 as well after, right? Without your opponent doing anything, which can be big. Okay, something to keep an eye on. Let's move on to the next guy here. Skill 1's the same. Seal. Okay, it's scroll again, right? Seal the opponent. Anything different? Okay, so seal your opponent again. Got it. Okay, and skill 3 draws a giant dragon. Is there a skill animation? I kind of want to check that out. I don't even need to read anything further. Yeah, I kind of want to check that out first, but okay. Draws a giant dragon. Okay, what kind of drawing? My kind of drawing? Because if it is, it's gonna be ugly as. Okay, anyways. Draw a giant dragon to attack all enemies. This attack cannot be counterattacked, and all passive skills on the enemies are not activated. Oh, this kind of like AOE Rocky, no? Right? Kills Pernas, kills Mihols, kills through Trianas. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Wow. Well, okay. I mean, is it OP? Can we agree, guys? Is this OP? I don't know, right? But is it interesting? Yes. Yeah, this is very interesting. The unit in the game that should have this skill is Grogan. So instead of buffing Grogan, what they did instead was they had whatchamacallit, Hanwul draw Grogan. You see right there, draws Grogan to attack all enemies. Yeah, this attack cannot be counterattacked and all passes and the skills are not activated. Oh, come on, dude. If you're gonna give a different skill like this, man, you should have given it to Grogan, man. Give Grogan something cool, something different, dude. But okay, this is interesting. Yeah, is it OP? It's just for this skill, right? But the thing is that I think this skill is really OP in PvP, right? In this kind of instance, with this type of skill makes me think like a cleaving unit, right? You're gonna go and you're trying to cleave, because this doesn't stop your opponent from passives and doesn't stop your opponent's revenges after you use the skill, right? There's no debuff. It's only when you use this skill. So this is a nuke skill. If you're trying to nuke your opponent, what purpose do you have to scroll trap them? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure, right? So this is interesting. It's interesting, right? Kind of interesting. Last unit here, yeah, is the dark one. Let's take a look. By the way, I must say, all of these guys look pretty cool. Yeah. Alright, skill 1's the same. Skill 2 here, remove beneficial effect and put glancing. Okay, so Volantis, S3. Third skill here, remove the harmful effects granted on all allies. So it's a cleanse. And the selected target will go under threat state while the enemies attack 2 times. You will gain a turn afterwards. Interesting. Wait, that's so good. So this is a 2-turn threat state. But the thing is that this is a 2-turn threat state that instantly gives you an S2. Because it says, yeah, while the enemies attack 2 times, you will gain an extra turn afterwards. Is it after your opponent hits 2 times, or you gain an additional turn as soon as you use this skill? Oh, if you get a turn as soon as you use a skill, even better. This is literally Ophelia 2.0. Because Ophelia does threat state, obviously for 3 turns, but it doesn't do anything else, right? You use threat state. So if you use this unit and you're able to take first turn, you put threat state that cucks your opponent, right, to have to strip it or attack that unit, and you're gonna put glancing on them and strip. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I think there's some new mechanics and combinations of skills in these new units, the String Masters and the Art Masters. I'm really excited to see more, right? Obviously, this is just the starting of the discussions of these units, right, and the implementations. I'm very excited to hear more about the String Masters, especially since a lot of you guys will be able to get it from the event, right? A lot of us can get it and test it out and try it out and see what's OP and not. But like I said, look forward to the podcast that's gonna be happening on the next podcast that we're gonna be doing. Yeah, look forward to the next podcast because we're gonna talk about each and every one. We're gonna go line by line and we're gonna talk about potential implications and where they can be used in the game and in combinations, right? And if, obviously when we have multiple people in the same room, the same podcast talking at the same time, we could come up with some great suggestions and ideas for where we can use it in the game. So kind of excited for that. Yeah, so do look forward to that podcast.